What is up, everyone? It is Diecastbuffet here again. Christopher Bell wins at Atlanta, but with some controversy. We'll be talking about that in today's video. Let's go ahead and jump right into it. So naturally, the DeWalt car won at Atlanta, and we have a little segment on our channel. Boom! We have two shades of yellow. This one's definitely closer to the DeWalt yellow, even though I like both of them. Anyways, so we got our DeWalt colors in the background. I digress. Let me go ahead and adjust my brightness a little bit. And let's talk about Atlanta. So, fantastic race. They pretty much broke the track record again, or at least came close to it, with like 45-something lead changes. Just constant great pack racing. They weren't just riding around. A lot of people don't like that at Talladega and Daytona, where they're just riding around. They're not really trying. This time, I mean, they were just... Did you see, was it Chastain and someone else? I think it might have been Josh Berry, and they just kept trading the lead every lap. It was so cool. Like, one would dive underneath them in the corner, slide back up past them, a lap would go around, and the other driver would do verbatim the exact thing. It was so cool. I love it, man. Fantastic racing. I love the new Atlanta. We had some hard crashes. A lot of drivers are not too happy with Carson Hocevar. He's an aggressive driver. I like aggressive drivers. So, hey, man, he almost won this race. Tons of fun. I picked Ryan Blaney to win this race. He was one of the fastest cars. I'm telling you, them Penske cars. Let me tell you, they got the best plate cars out there. They might not win the race, but in terms of just consistently leading laps, without a shadow of a doubt, they were the best in the field. I mean, Josh Berry almost won this race. He had the best Wood Brothers plate car I might have seen since Trevor Bayne won. I mean, I know Burton won Daytona last year, but I mean, Josh Berry's plate car was insane today at Atlanta. So I picked Blaney. He didn't win. Christopher Bell won. What's interesting is I picked Christopher Bell to win the 500, and he had a good run going. He had the accident with Preece. Then he comes back next week and wins. Go figure. That's interesting, nonetheless. So the controversial part is the end of the race, and I haven't read any comments yet on it. And they had like pretty much another 3-wide photo finish about to happen. You had Hocevar, Christopher Bell, and Kyle Larson. Yeah, the streak of Kyle Larson crashing at every single plate race seemed like it was about to end. Kyle Larson had not only a great car, there was no damage on it, and he was making moves. He was being aggressive. And we'll backtrack just real quickly. He made a very aggressive block on Austin Cindric, running him up the racetrack. I know a lot of people are probably not going to like that. I'm just going to be honest with you. I've seen Kyle Larson get ran that way many times in the Cup Series. Larson don't retaliate. Very calm, very stoic in his interviews. I'm kind of glad he showed a little bit of aggression there, because if you don't show aggression in today's Cup Series, this isn't Mark Martin's era. This isn't Jeff Burton's era where there's etiquette and gentleman driving. If you let people run you ragged on the racetrack, they're going to continue to do so, and I've seen Larson been on the worst end of those instances. Pocono, Denny Hamlin. We've seen other opportunities where he just gets ran up the racetrack, gets taken advantage of on restarts, and Larson really doesn't do anything. So I think an aggressive Larson could be an interesting Larson. So I don't really blame him for doing that, but I can understand why a lot of people are probably like, well, he crashed Cindric, one of the best cars in the show. So I can understand both sides of that. Now let's kind of go back forward to the 3-wide photo finish. The controversy is, so they're entering turn 3 on the final lap. They're pretty much 3-wide. Caution. Final lap, caution. And I didn't get to see the wreck, but I think it was like in 1 and 2 or on the back straightaway. And once again, we're going to have the discussion. Should they cause the caution or, call it? Or should they just let them race? I mean, I'm really shocked they actually called the caution, because if they would have let it play out, most likely that was going to be a 3-wide photo finish. Congratulations. There's another year of marketing that you can plug into every single commercial. Well, they'll be advertising a race at Richmond at Gateway, but they'll still be using the 3-wide Atlanta photo finish for the commercial B-roll. You know, they'll just find some way to plug it in there. They would have had probably another similar set of footage, and they throw the caution. So I don't know, because I didn't see the wreck. I just know it was like off camera in the background. I don't know. Who knows? But I know it's going to be very controversial, because they didn't call the caution in the 500, but they called the caution in the dual race, and now they called the caution again. So get ready to hear a lot of interesting opinions, regardless which side you fall on. Me personally, I can't really give an accurate opinion because I haven't seen how severe the wreck was, but I kind of wish there was a rule where like they would just let them race back to the stripe. Somehow they could do it safely. I mean, they're pretty good at avoiding wrecks, because as soon as they cross the stripe, they slow down regardless. As long as the wreck's not like entering turn 1, where they literally have no physical chance of slowing down, I probably would have let them race back. Maybe they could have done maybe a light or something. Like, what if the lights went blue? Okay, hear me out. And that basically means there's an accident on the racetrack, and it's designed for the final lap of the race. Slow down immediately after crossing the line. Maybe they could implement something like that in the future. That way both sides kind of have maybe something that could help both sides. Like, hey, we don't want to see crazy crashes after the race. We don't want to see the leaders wreck. And then you have the people who say, well, they should have just let them race to the end. Maybe they could do something like that, like a warning signal. So as soon as they cross the stripe, slow down maybe 30% more than you normally would, because there is a crash on the racetrack, just in case their spotters don't get to them in time. Because if you're winning a race, you're going to be hooting and hollering and celebrating. But if you have a light on the racetrack, the drivers will have no choice but to see it. That's just my 2 cents. Anyways, another thing that I wanted to talk about in this video is our good old CW. Oh boy. So another week of CW coverage. I love their broadcasts. I just wish they would upgrade their antennas for their television signal, because, you know, it's crazy. My local CW, and I mentioned this on the Daytona 500 review, my local CW signal is so bad, it truly hurts my eyes watching it. It is so blurry. It's about 480p. It's like watching a 2008 NASCAR Sprint Cup video, like a highlight replay, that was actually uploaded in 2008. So it's like screen recorded, right? And then it's like deep fried in terms of quality. It physically hurts my eyes to the point where I'm having to stand as far away as I can from my television just to be able to watch it. I can't even barely read the driver names. That's how blurry it is. So that's really unfortunate. I wish they would just say, hey, you could stream it on the app like you do qualifying, like you do practice, but apparently that is too difficult. Just saying. I really wish they would, because I love being able to watch the NASCAR Xfinity Series. So from what I could see, besides it hurting my eyes, it was so blurry. It was pretty good racing. Austin Hill won again. The Truck Series race, a lot of fun. I just love Atlanta. And I know some people are probably not going to want this, but it makes me wonder, is there still a chance they're gonna make another Atlanta Super Speedway type racetrack with the current 1.5 miles? One idea that I've been kind of pondering is maybe Kentucky. Kentucky's pretty much dead right now in terms, Kentucky Speedway. What if they just say, hey, let's reconfigure it, let's turn it into a super speedway, it gets the Kentucky fan base back into the Cup Series, and it could become a destination track. I'm just saying, maybe not, I don't know. I love 1.5 mile racing like this. If you tell me, would I rather watch Coda, Martinsville in the Cup Series, Gateway, New Hampshire, or Atlanta Super Speedway? Give me Atlanta Super Speedway type racing a million times. I'm just keeping it real. And I wonder if a large portion of the demographic of NASCAR fans would be okay with it if there was, like, let's just say, for instance, if the viewership for a 1.5 mile race or any NASCAR race was 20% higher because of a super speedway package. So the 20% higher views for, I don't know, Las Vegas, Texas, whatever it is, that's a lot of fans that could potentially be watching. But they have to turn it into a super speedway. Would fans be willing to let that happen in order to help grow the sport? I don't know. I think that'd be an interesting discussion because clearly the production for it, they put a lot more effort into the Atlanta races because they understand there's more people watching, the watch time. There's a lot more people paying attention to these super speedway events. So one last little thing I want to talk about in this video. I'm not trying to keep y'all's time too much because I know I could be a little bit long-winded. But Dodge is apparently coming back to NASCAR, and I feel like it is so not talked about, which is crazy. The rumors for Dodge coming back in the sport have been going around for years and years and years. And this is the first time I have seen actual on the NASCAR broadcast. They did in the pre-race show, they did like a 5-second clip talking about it, about Dodge possibly coming back to NASCAR, which when you got some of the top reporters in the, journalism section of NASCAR talking about it, Dodge coming back looks pretty legit. And I've been around the sport for, oh my goodness, watching races since 2011, but I've been, a fan of the sport for 20 years because, I was a kid and all that. Didn't really pay attention much to the racing when I was little. This is the closest they've ever been to having Dodge come back into sport. And it's fascinating how almost no one's talking about it. I'm like, this is one of the biggest storylines since the millennium in the sport. Like, this is one of the biggest things the sport could have. Out of all the amazing good news stories you could have for NASCAR, a fourth OEM by far is the top of that list because a motorsport is usually seen, if you want to gauge how healthy the sport is, how many manufacturers you have. That is a massive scale of how successful a sport is going. Is it growing? Is it stagnant? Or is it declining? The fact that they're potentially getting a fourth manufacturer and there's still rumors maybe of a fifth one, I'm just saying that is massive W for NASCAR if this is true. And if people are just acting like it's just normal news, like, oh, Dodge is coming back. Okay, let's make our predictions for Atlanta. I'm like, come on, man. Y'all got to give me more than that. It's bigger than the championship. It's bigger than the Daytona 500 if it is true. That's how massive the sport is. The Dodge coming back to the sport would be. I mean, it literally changes everything. So I'm shocked not enough people are really talking about it, but I'm curious what y'all think. I certainly hope it's true. I never wanted Dodge to leave. I love all the manufacturers, but man, there was something so cool about them Penske Challengers in the Nationwide Series, man. Them things were dope. Thank you all for watching the video. Have a blessed one. Pretty sure the Race to Win diecast is going to be offered for Christopher Bell. I don't know about the Austin Hill getting made in 164. We'll have to see on that. And maybe because it's a four straight wins at the Atlanta Spring Race, we might get some sort of... it'd be cool if they did like a 4-car set that had all of his Atlanta wins. That'd be cool. And then the truck win for Kyle Busch. He won this race in 2023. It did get made in 164 scale, so go ahead and pre-order those. You can use promo code Diecastbuffet. On to COTA next. Hopefully, the colder temperatures potentially in Austin, Texas will lead to some better racing. We'll see. Maybe they made some off-season changes, and I have no idea about it, but I really, really hope it is a good show. Thank you all for watching. Have a blessed one. Diecastbuffet. Signing off.